Thank you for tuning in to 5-Star Tips, where advisors can hear time-tested methods and proven strategies that top practices are using to achieve exceptional and sustainable success. We invite you to listen, take notes, and apply these methods to your practice today to generate better results tomorrow. Your host, Ken Unger, is the founder of the Academy of Preferred Financial Advisors. Ken is the industry's leading coach and trainer for mid to high-level financial advisors with almost 40 years of industry experience. Ken has trained more high-level success stories than any other coach. Ken is a thought leader for advisors who are looking to grow and run the industry's top client-centric practices. If you are ready to take your practice to the next level, stay tuned.
Welcome, everybody, to our 5-Star Tips podcast. I'm Ken Unger, the founder of the Academy of Preferred Financial Advisors and your host today. Today we are very, very fortunate because we're going to be, as part of our Proven Success series, we're going to be sharing with you a podcast that's devoted to not just hopes and dreams, but actual success. Today joining me are Academy of Preferred Financial Advisor members, Don Petricic and Tom Phillips. They are people who've been part of our community now for over 5 years, and they have a great story to tell. They're two exceptional advisors who are just doing amazing things, delivering massive value for clients, running an exemplary practice, and also dedicated community and family people. So with that, Don and Tom, are you here?
Yes, we are, Ken.
Excellent.
Good morning, Ken.
Good morning. Well, I know I'm here in California. You guys are up there in Bellevue, Washington. But can you tell us a little bit for the listeners, either Don or Tom, tell us about how you started your business. And now I know you have an interesting start. You guys started from ground zero. You started this thing from scratch.
Yeah, we sure did, Ken. Don Petricic here. I started in financial services in 2001. My hire date, believe it or not, was 9/11/01. Tom came on board 6 years later. We ended up starting the Petricic and Phillips Financial Group in 2012. And really, both of us had a similar experience. We both started right out of college in a training program, and we started with no clientele, and we built our practice up, and things took off in 2012.
So you started this thing in 2012. You went independent. You start your own practice, Petricic and Phillips Financial Group, and then I guess we connected in 2015. Tell me a little bit about where were you 3 years out, and what were you looking like?
Well, in 2012, when we started, we really started growing the practice. And when you and I and Tom connected in 2015, we felt like we needed some help to get to that next level. At that time, we were around 50 million in overall assets under management. Primarily, we were doing commission business at the time. Our team consisted of the two of us, and we had just hired a new admin to help us get to that next level. But really, we felt like we needed a strategy. We needed help with client service, with review meetings, and how best to use our time efficiently.
So I guess when we first met, as you described, I remember having that conversation, and you two had both been in the industry for a while, knew the business. Your skill set was good, but obviously you were committed to taking it to a higher level. You were looking for some operational blueprints and tracks to follow, and you certainly were capable of talking to people. The journey, I think, has been an amazing one. I'm going to dial back and do a deeper dive on what you've done, but tell me, where are you guys now? So, bring me forward. You've been with us 5 years. Petricic and Phillips has really been thriving. Tell me, what does the practice look like now?
Yeah, Tom, do you want to touch on that?
Of course. So you flash forward 5 years, and we really came into this process with you, Ken, and wanted to be malleable. We didn't want to say no. We wanted to look at what you had to say with our practice, what other members, in the APFA were doing, and take it to heart and try to implement. So I've heard this from a lot of people. You go to your first meeting, it does feel like you're drinking out of a fire hose. You want to leave there with, 30 ideas of how to improve. We focused on a few. We implemented, and then, we look over the past 5 years now, and we've just continued to try to be malleable, listen to what the APFA has had to say, and we've both went and got our CFP designation in 2015 as well. So we really feel like now we offer comprehensive financial planning, and we're really in the business of building financial plans for our clients.
Ken, I think I told you this in 2015 when we started with the APFA. There was nothing wrong with our practice and our lifestyle at that time. Both Tom and I were successful. We just felt like, as a service to our clients, as a service to our families, we needed to get more efficient in order to grow, and we really feel that that process started in 2015.
Right, and if you remember when we first talked, I told you the same thing I tell everyone else, which is there are no magic beans or magic wands or magical things in this business. There are magical moments, but there's no magic to this business. It's growth over time through discipline, hard work. I think both of you brought the three things that are really key and critical for advisor success, which is a positive attitude. I mean, you came with that. I hope I encourage that, but you came with that. You came with an open mind and a desire to improve. So tell me, from a staffing standpoint and an asset standpoint, what does your business sit now?
So right now, from an assets under management standpoint, we crossed over 140 million this week, which we're happy about. We've actually added around 20 million in net new assets during this year, 2020, during all of this, work from home COVID standpoint. So we're very proud of our efforts this year.
So then the seeds you've planted, so now you've built a nice organization around you. You've planted these seeds for the last years, and like we talk about at our sessions, you're running the firm like CEOs, and really on a disciplined basis. Do you think that was luck or magic that you guys grew this year, or do you think that's part of the path and journey that you've been on and will continue?
Well, it's just been consistency. I would say that one thing we've done over the last 5 years is we've been consistent in delivering our service package to our clients. And of course, when times get turbulent, they're going to turn to us. So we've to this point added more new clients in the first half of 2020 than we have in any previous year. Tom, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, of course. And Don's absolutely right. We're about consistency, also systemization. I think that's a critical aspect of this. That over the past 5 years, we've delegated business responsibilities between the two of us. So if a task comes up, we automatically know kind of who umbrellas it falls under. And even when we had to work from home, okay, great. Maybe we can't do the seminars we wanted to at a nice restaurant here in the area, but let's do some consistent Zoom calls. Let's get people in. Let's have meetings over Zoom or over teleconferences. We're using the material that the APFA provides during these Zoom webinars. It's all plug and play, and there you go.
Well, and you brought up a good point. You brought up consistency and discipline. So let's dial back. At the beginning of your experience, what are some of the things that you think you implemented that over the last 5 years have helped you to just about triple and grow your business?
Well, number one, the marketing calendar is everything. Tom and I, we say all the time that when we create our marketing calendar for a year, usually sometime around the holidays between Thanksgiving and Christmas, our year ahead of us is done. All we really need to do is step into that year because it's all mapped out. So probably the biggest help to us at the beginning of our APFA experience was that implementation and the planning of the marketing calendar. And another thing that has really helped us was the implementation of the client advocate program, as well as recognition of new clients, and bringing those two different programs together. That's been a huge success for us, especially early on.
Well, let's dive on that for a second, because I know a lot of people say, well, yeah, I bought this, and you guys have been approached by a lot. There are so many people out there selling, like whether it's plug and play or set and forget kind of marketing programs, and people show me those all day long, and I just look at them and say, they may be consistent, but are they meaningful? And so I just want to ask you, based on the feedback you get, it's not about just sending something every week or sending something every month. Wouldn't you both agree that it's got to be something that's meaningful, timely, and relevant that you've got to be sending?
It's got to move the needle, for sure. It needs to be timely. It needs to relate to what's going on in the world and what time of year it is. And yeah, absolutely.
So it's not just, hey, let's just buy a program that knocks out something every week and, that'll just satisfy my clients, because you both know if you're sending out information that's not meaningful, it's just not going to get read. It's not going to get
absolutely. You've got to have a story to tell, and it has to move the needle. Absolutely, you have to bring value.
So let's move to client reviews and systematizing. Like either your onboarding and your client reviews. How has your experience been in that? I mean, in the last 5 years, I know the answer because you've elevated the experience. One of the things that we find over and over again is people will pay for an exceptional experience and strong advice. Do you feel you deliver that?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And Tom, do you want to touch on our client review meeting process? You've done a great job with this.
Yes, be happy to. So, Don alluded to before, our marketing calendar lays out everything that we're going to do for the upcoming year. And part of that too is how we're going to meet with clients. So we go into the year knowing, okay, great, this is when we'll call our A clients, we'll set up meetings, Bs and Cs and so on. And then in that, you look back 5 or so years, there wasn't any real systemization. It was just kind of, you would meet someone either by referral or somehow, and then, there was no kind of first meeting walkthrough to make sure that we got the same consistent info. It just kind of happened. And then the second meeting would happen and you'd go from there. So now, as Don mentioned, we know what's going to be put on our desk when we have a prospect come into the office, what's going to be in that first meeting packet. We know the things that we're going to discuss and bring up. And then after that, we know what we're going to hand to Cassie Ray as our client service specialist. She's going to prep things behind the scenes for the next meeting when they come in a week or so. So it's, this is just one example, Ken, of, Don mentioned at the top, we felt like we could have just grinded things out for the next 20 or so years. Don's 40, I'm 35. So we felt like, okay, great, we can incrementally increase, but that's not what we were looking to do. We wanted to make sure that we were bringing value to clients, and we wanted to, elevate our game and make sure that we're bringing a top-notch experience as well.
So, one of the things I'm hearing from you is you took a look at the scalable and efficient systems that we recommend and, personalized it for yourselves and really built scalable and efficient systems for both onboarding and servicing clients. Let's dive into some of the expertise. How do you feel your expertise has grown in tax planning, for example? Do you find tax planning important to onboarding and adding clients?
I think that's been the game changer, Ken, is we were really known going into our experience with the APFA as retirement planners, as retirement income and distribution specialists. But when we added that tax component to our game, that's, I think, when we really saw ourselves differentiate from our competition, if you will. I can't tell you how many times I sit down with a prospective client and they tell me that they've sat with financial planners before and no one's ever asked to see their tax return. And, really, I can't see how you can give financial advice without being able to take a look at the tax return and see how your recommendations are going to impact their life. So I'll be honest, when we started with the APFA, I had a pretty good understanding of how to break down a tax return. But with the resources and the training that I've received from your organization, Bob Keebler, it's taken it to the next level where now we can give really strong advice and tax reduction strategies for our clients. And that's a very referable skill because the vast majority of our industry doesn't do that.
100%. Absolutely.
And I want to say, I know you both do an amazing job at breaking down a tax form, but I want to clarify for our listeners, you do tax planning, you do not do tax preparation, correct?
That's correct. No one inside of our organization will actually fill out a tax return for a client, or we don't do tax returns and charge for that. No.
Now, one of the mindsets I know you folks have, and that's why you're both great CEOs and co-CEOs of running a firm, is that you understand one of the biggest differentiators between growing a firm or not is how you look at building your firm and investing in your firm. Could you touch on that, investing in your firm?
Well, you're hitting it on the head right there, Kent. You're hitting it on the head with the terminology. There's a big difference between viewing investing in your firm versus an expense, right? So I can't tell you how many times I talk to colleagues and we talk about different tools that they can use inside of their business, and they're like, well, that's kind of expensive. I don't want to have that expense on my business, but really it's an investment in your practice. Tom, I don't know what your mindset is on investing in your practice versus expenses, but
yeah, when it's funny when we're going through the books at the end of each month and I'm consolidating everything in QuickBooks, there really is two categories. Rent, that's an expense. That could be expensive or cheap depending on what area of the country you are. But when I look at something like APFA and when I look at, sending out literature to our clients, when we look at doing events and having the client advocate program where we, go to a nice steakhouse in the area and thank people for partnering with our organization and thank them for championing for us and referring us to others. That's an investment, right?
Absolutely.
So, we've especially at our previous broker dealer, you would hear a lot of, oh, that's expensive, that's an expense, that's an expense. And, Don and I, from day one of starting this organization in 2012, we knew that whatever we would invest in, we wanted to make sure it provided value. We don't want to just throw money anywhere, right? But at the same time, we value and we think of things and we invest our money in our practice knowing that it's going to come back tenfold. And look at our growth.
We really feel an educated client makes the best client, and they make better decisions, especially during turbulent times. So we really like to invest in our clientele in order to educate them. And then we also use things like in-person client events when we could do them. But now, Zoom webinars where we're educating our clients, we open that up to prospective clients. And we make no bones about it with our existing clientele. This is not only a platform to educate you, but also it's a platform for introductions to prospective clients you feel would be a good fit for our organization. And it's been a huge success.
Right. And you both know that one of our philosophies is an educated client is your best client. And here at the APFA, like every other organization, we had the choice this year of whether we just pivot or die. And so we pivoted from doing in-person events where I know I personally enjoy sitting with both of you, and so do prospects and clients. But now we brought it online, and I know that we've been putting out every couple of weeks a quick 15-minute kind of learning experience that really has some meaningful information. And I've watched you guys have done a great job of putting together your version of it, taking those approved, how easy has it been for you to pivot to taking live things to online using the information?
For us, it's really been seamless. We early on, Tom and I got on the phone together and kind of talked about the state of things, and it didn't look like this whole COVID-19 situation was going away anytime soon. So right away from the get-go, we started planning on communicating with our clients in the most personable way that we could given the circumstances. So we started with a monthly Zoom webinar with our clients using much of the compliance approved materials that the APFA provided. We were fortunate in that we had a client with some experience in broadcasting, who in sports broadcasting, who was, obviously out of work because of sports being canceled, and he served as a moderator for some of our Zoom webinars, and it was a huge success. We would set up these calls. We would get anywhere, and we continue to do this, anywhere between 40 and 70 clients and prospects on these Zoom webinars. They would type in questions. It was a huge success. Tom, what's your take on what we've been doing?
Yeah, I agree. We were fortunate in that we had invested in technology the last couple of years, so we all had laptops that had cameras on them. So actually going remote wasn't too much of a hindrance. And then, we'd had some events that we had planned, at different restaurants. We had a client advocate appreciation event that would have been at, I think, last Saturday at the Seattle Mariners at a home game that, we canceled. So we just kind of adapted, canceled, the in-person events. And then fortunately, the APFA kept putting out material that was relevant, and we would utilize that material. Like John said, we were fortunate that we had a moderator. And obviously, we're on the inside, so we kind of know what this feels like. But we would have people that were in the audience and clients in the audience and friends that were in the audience, and I'd ask them like, "Hey, how did that go?" And they were like, "It's seamless." And when I felt like maybe it was a little rocky, they're like, "Hey, that was great. The slideshow was great. The moderator was great. You both did great." And we were both, sitting there in suits at our respective homes.
I think you guys did a great job. I mean, you, like all our members, you invested in your firm by having good technology, and then you pivoted like we suggested and everybody else did to, the funny thing is the strategy of providing premium experience and strong advice has never changed. The only thing that's changed is the tactics of how we provide it. And you pivoted like our other members to an online experience, which as I said, I've watched I know we supply them, but you send them back to us, and I watch your little videos, your 10 and 15-minute sessions that you're doing. They're meaningful, they're strong, you both look great, and I'm not surprised that all those seeds that you planted are coming back even stronger. Let's move to just, as far as your experience with the group, do you find that the people that you're surrounded with, the other APFA members, do you find they're like you, like-minded? Are you guys impressed with the other people we have as part of our community? Or how do you feel about your experience with the people in our group?
I mean, it's the highest quality of advisors in the industry. I think that I remember our first session in LA in 2015 when we first joined the group, and I remember meeting some people and looking around the room and kind of hearing different experiences, and I was pretty blown away. And it's been such a pleasure, such a resource to be able to share ideas within the APFA. Tom and I joke about this all the time, but idea stealing within the APFA is not only allowed, but it's encouraged. And I can't tell you how much value I've gotten from sharing ideas with advisors from all over the country. And some things you hear and they fit your practice great and you implement and it works. And some things don't work for your firm because based on the size of your organization or what you work with clients on. But it's been huge.
Yeah, it is amazing. I think a lot of times, to echo what Don said, we walk into this room and it can be overwhelming. You have practices that are on the Barron's list, and we come in as just a couple of kind of small potatoes up in the Seattle area. But you sit down next to people. Everybody's very hospitable. We're all doing, and what was funny to me, what really built conviction is, so we come back from the first meeting, like Don said, that was in that was in LA, and we're like, okay, great, let's implement gold medal services and let's implement 3 things. We do that and we kind of build from there for that first year. We come back for year 2, and Ken, you did a panel of success, and you asked, similar questions like, hey, what are you guys doing to the panel? And they're saying the same things, like we're sending out the mailers, we're doing events, we have our gold medal services, and that's really built conviction for us. And Ken, you alluded to it at the top, where there's no magic pill. It's just if you're consistent and you're always trying to sharpen your sword and move forward and do right by clients first and foremost, it's going to work. Well, it just takes time.
And as you folks know, I mean, if you take a look at, we're trying to build a farming community, and over the years, if you look at the communities that have survived, even civilization, the hunter-gatherers all end up disappearing, and the farming communities, if they're built right, last forever. And these fundamental and core activities that you've built in are the farming activities for both developing, sustaining, and building a business. And now you're both on the end of the curve where, like you're experiencing, it starts to grow exponentially. Couldn't be prouder. But once again, as I said earlier, you two brought 3 ingredients that, really, really make a difference and move the needle, which are your positive attitudes, your open minds, and your desires to improve. I would ask you at this point, what would you say to other practices? What would you share with others as a way, how can people, I know you like to give back, how can others grow in this business?
I think you need to be, number one, a student of the game, dedicated to your craft. You should constantly try to gain knowledge and get better at what you do and deliver that to your clients on a regular basis. Second, if you're good at what you do and you have pride in what you provide clients, don't keep it a secret. Let them know that, listen, we're an organization and we're growing, and if you're happy with our services, don't keep us a secret. And by doing a good job, I think naturally that's going to come your direction. And really, at the end of the day, that's kind of been the secret to our success is staying consistent, delivering a good service to our clients, and the referrals have just really trickled in.
I just
agreed.
And before, one of the things I'd be, sad if I let you go, I just want you to understand this. Now, you guys have tripled your business. You got a very powerful recurring revenue stream. You guys, well over $1 million for revenue stream, recurring, coming consistently. You've built a nice office. One of the things I'm proudest of both of you is the way you've maintained your balance in life and family. Could you just address it? I mean, Don, did you have to, was it over the last 5 years in taking your skill set to a higher level, operating with more excellence, building a marketing system that's repeatable, and developing a profitable business? Do you feel either you or Tom have disrupted that work-life balance that kept you a good parent and spouse?
Yeah, I think when you focus on efficiency of time in your business, that trickles into your personal life. So I think if anything, I've gotten more efficient with time in my personal life, and by getting efficient in the business, that's created more personal time. I spend plenty of time with the family. I've been fortunate enough over the last few years to be involved in coaching my son's baseball teams, being present for all of their different school activities, tons of travel with my wife and kids as well. We lead a pretty full social life, while at the same time having a lot of success in business. And I know Tom can speak on that. He's doing the same thing.
And this is where we could probably give you the most credit, Ken. Not to keep pounding on the superlatives to you, but if you look 5 years ago, Don's kids were really young. I was just starting to have kids, and we realized, we weren't efficient. We would probably be successful, but we were really going to have to grind it out, and that's where it starts affecting the personal life, right? So when we came into the APFA, we really wanted to be open-minded and again, use the word malleable to listen to what you had to say, especially in the area of efficiencies and systemization, knowing that that's where we had struggled prior and we could use quite a bit of help. And to Don's point, now you flash forward 5 years later, his kids are in the sports. I've had 2 sons as well during that time and have still been able to, have a very successful practice that continues to grow, but at the same time being able to spend plenty of time with my 2 boys and my wife.
Because really, at the end of the day, Tom and I say this all the time. At the end of the day, if you don't have a good family home balance, what's the point? What's the point of all of the money? What's the point of all of the success? What's the point of everything if you're miserable on a day-to-day basis? So we really focus on making sure that we take care of ourselves and have that good balance.
Yeah, and you asked the question at the top of this, Ken, will we share to others? And if in regards to the APFA, I would say the same thing. When you work in financial services, everybody's going to have a little bit of ego, right? And that's okay. But if you can come in, if you can be humble and set your ego aside and you can listen, man, there's a lot of good knowledge there. And people can, Bob Keebler, other financial advisors around the country, everybody's nice and willing to chat, talk about their successes in the areas that, where they struggled as well. So that's what I would say. Come in, be humble, and listen and absorb.
Well, it's funny. I remember when I, went away to college, and my dad told me the best advice he could give me was to surround myself with other people that are going to be successful, because that would not just enhance, but add to my ability to be successful. And that's the kind of community we try to create. But, as you both noted, you've become efficient, meaningful, very intentional in what you're doing, and extremely focused. And I couldn't be prouder than to be affiliated with 2 high quality human beings like both of you that have great skill sets, exhibit excellence on the operational side, and really do a great job both in living your lives and taking care of others. So with that, anything else to share, guys? Because I think you've said a lot, and boy, it's an honor to take your time today.
Well, we thank you for having us on today and for all your help over the years, you and the APFA. I couldn't be more thankful for that. I couldn't be more thankful for the continued partnership with our clients. And on behalf of myself and Tom, thank you for having us on today.
Well, I thank you guys, because you guys are the next generation. The way I see it, your trajectory will continue to grow. You guys, as you know, you got at least 20 more years of 20 to 30 years in front of you of really being able to do explosive things to help people, and the amazing, sensational work you do. So on behalf of the APFA and the entire industry, I thank you guys for being part of our organization, for partnering with us as members, and just for all the good work you do for people. So thanks, guys. Real honor to have you today.
It was our pleasure, Ken. We're humbled to be on this call with you.
Well, you know what? It's funny. I know you guys said, you sure you've got other guys? And I said, when I talk about proven success, Don and Tom, you guys, clearly your name comes up. You guys, it's amazing what you've done. You've built from start a great organization, as you mentioned, 40 and 30s. This is a hard business for younger people to build to a level that you've built it at, and continue to grow. So we're real proud of you, and looking forward to bigger, better, and greater things even from both of you. So with that, thank you again.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you, Ken.
Okay, if you liked what you heard today, I'm hoping that you'll give us 5 stars for a 5-star tip. So I'll be a little self-serving there and asking you to give us some 5-star review, and tune into our future episodes of 5-Star Tips. As I said, the next few series will be a podcast will be our Proven Success series that'll be devoted to not just hopes and dreams, but actual success stories. So thank you to everyone for listening today. Hope you give us 5 stars. And if you need to talk to us, please call us at the APFA.
Thank you for listening to this episode of 5-Star Tips. For show notes, please visit www.theapfa.com. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and share it with a friend. And don't forget to sign up for our email list. For more information on the Academy of Preferred Financial Advisors, please visit our website at www.theapfa.com. That's www.theapfa.com. Or give us a call at 866-866-0472 with any questions you may have.